In this little video, pardon the voice, I'm getting over a cold a little bit, got some congestion going on, so it's not the best voice I could ever use, but uh, I wanted to talk a little bit about the category that we call New Wave. Me and Max, my friend Max Bills from Other Band, were talking about this the other day. I was telling him about a little bit about the history of the way the term New Wave has really evolved, because what it meant when it came out sort of in 1978, 79, 80 really has nothing to do at the end of the day, for the most part, with the stuff that was being called New Wave when MTV came along. And to begin with, it was sort of encompassing a lot of different genres rather than one new wave sound. It was all lumped under new wave because it wasn't hardcore punk and it wasn't artsy fartsy post punk. Like the Cars, Elvis Costello, Blondie, Talking Heads, Peru Boo, even sometimes, they all fit under the new wave category. They were all lumped under that at one point. It's not the best category because record companies came up with it as a way to deter the negative influence that punk was supposed to have as a term on the way these bands were perceived in the marketplace, and it was part of discrimination against punk rock at a time when people were scared of it because of the Sex Pistols and Sid Vicious. So for that reason, I'm not a big fan of the term, but the music that came out of that new wave, really, a lot of that stuff is absolutely timeless, like the first Cars album, Pretenders, Cheap Trick. All of it's just amazing. The Jam, their best records are fantastic. As good as any punk rock record for sure. And but there's a separation line, sort of, at the turning point of about 1981 that you get to in the history of the term New Wave. It's important to note there's not a lot of people have pointed it out. But there's an important distinction to make between the original form of New Wave and MTV New Wave, the stuff that was played on the network when it came out. It was all they played. There was the first wave of New Wave, which was like the Cars, Elvis Costello, Pretenders, Cheap Trick, all those power pop bands, the Jam, Talking Heads, Blondie, all those other New Wave groups, very different groups. Even the Rockabilly Revival was lumped under New Wave. People like that, Joe Jackson, Graham Parker, and the like, Nick Lowe. Whereas the stuff that started to get played on MTV when it came out was what would more accurately called New Romantic rather than just New Wave. Because instead of the old formulas of New Wave, it relied on this Bowie-esque New Romantic image, and it was totally different from what had come in the previous 4 years. By about 1982, New Wave meant something totally different to what it meant in 1979. So people who hated New Wave, and if they were hardcore punk, if you hate New Wave, you probably don't hate all New Wave bands, because New Wave encompassed a lot of different things, and MTV New Wave was a particular sort that was very well and very rightly despised for all the good moments it had. It was rightly despised because of the image-conscious stuff that put hardcore punkers out of work, because no one thought that they weren't murderous psychopaths, so no one would book any real hardcore bands, so that was the way that went. When Milo Aukerman sang in the song, I forget what it was. God damn it, I forget what it was. Was it I'm Not a Loser? I think I'm Not a Loser, something like that, on the Descendants album, as Max kept singing. He does a thing where he mocks a new waver and his girlfriend. I'm a new waver. My girlfriend's a surfer. Which is hilarious. My girlfriend's a surfer, that whole thing. But when he was talking about new wave, he was probably talking about New Romantics and all that, and not the good bands that I've always liked. And I wish there'd be more people who distinguish between the types of new wave that there are, rather than judging the genre on a few things they've seen. Hope I've stirred up some discussion here. Talk to you when I get a better voice.